Hey buddies, welcome back to Toonsday Tuesday, episode 77. Tonight we are talking about a anime called One Punch Man. Let's get it. Okay, no. First off, if you hear every week, there's four of us this time. First off,
Oh,
yeah, please welcome our co-hosts for tonight, Cackle Boys. Welcome to the show.
straight from Cybertron.
Yeah. Now, I'm gonna ask everyone just answer what you feel like. But how are you doing tonight?
I'm doing well, and luckily my allergies are not going crazy this evening. They were yesterday and they were Sunday, but I'm good.
You better knock on wood.
Yep. Oh god, yeah. It's like when
Yeah,
they start going, they start going.
yeah, I know. I've seen it before.
I've had to take allergy medicine and then I'm just knocked out for the entire evening. I've fallen asleep in the middle of doing anything I needed to do.
Nice.
Even the non-drowsy sits there and puts you to
Oh,
sleep. So
yeah.
what's the use of non-drowsy?
Yeah, I don't know. It's bad. It's bad stuff. But it's either
Nice.
that or not breathe.
Yeah. Okay, Jamie, cool. Alright,
Breathing is kind of a requirement.
yep. So, Jason, Nancy, how you guys doing?
Go ahead, Jason.
I'm doing totally stinking awesome. How you doing, DJ?
I'm doing good, especially after you made that mistake last night that had both of us waiting for an hour and a half. I was sprinting Nancy, go ahead.
I'm doing good. I've had a good day and everything, so not ready for the heat, but it's coming.
Oh, it's already here. It's a
Yeah, yeah, it's here. Look at my comment to James was we were going to talk last night, which we ended up doing, but he sent a message to the wrong person and didn't notice for like hour and a half. So
In my defense, I don't typically get a lot of messages through Facebook. It's usually just like DJ. And I had like an old family friend actually reached out to see how my mom was doing. I think a lot of y'all know that my mom was in the hospital several weeks ago. So she was checking in to see how things were. So when I pulled Messenger back up to let DJ know, like, hey, I finished eating, I'm good to talk whenever, I'd actually sent it to her. And she never replied back, like questioning anything. I don't know if she'd even seen it at that point in time. But some time went by, and I think DJ might have actually sent something to me.
yeah,
Checked on something, and I'm like,
hey, Devil Dog.
why isn't my message there? So yeah. And I was like, oops. I was like, dude, you can call me like an hour and a half ago. We're good.
yeah, no, like I I mean I could go ahead and pull it up, not show it, but it was like, yeah, I was just for the, I set him a thumbs up, and he set me, I'm done with the ham. Oh, wait.
I had 13 pounds of ham I had to bag up last night.
Yeah,
Wait, did you say 13 pounds of ham?
Yes, I did.
yes. Yeah, man.
I bought a ham and smoked it. I got a really good deal on it. I got it for like 99 cents a pound.
All
When you can
right.
get a 13-pound ham for $13, you buy said ham, you cook it, and you bag it up.
All right.
Yeah,
So, yes, that is good. Yes, that sounds amazing. My heart hurts just thinking about it.
I know, right?
It's not like I'm going to eat like all 13 pounds in one sitting. I have like 2 or 3 slices at a time,
Yeah.
like little pieces of the slice actually.
Goodness.
I would eat it all.
Yeah,
Real bad.
man. Yeah, that's funny, but yeah, that's what happened last night. But I digress. Let's jump into today's topic, which is the anime One Punch Man. Now, let me start off by saying, if you want to watch any show we watch, I will be telling you what it is. This particular one you can find on Hulu. I'm not sure if you need Hulu Plus for it, but it is on Hulu from what I know. So,
It's
uh,
probably also on Crunchyroll. I'm pretty sure it's probably Crunchyroll. Yeah.
yeah, it is. Now, now, One Punch Man, from those who aren't akin to it, is a anime about a superhero who could take out any bad guy with one punch. That's the gist. But, we're not just here for the gist. We're here to get down to the episode before I talk about. So, I'm gonna give the honor of tonight to our co-host of the night, Kickles. Take it away, man.
Okay, so One Punch Man from the mangaka One. This is based off of his webcomic series. And the crazy thing about this is One cannot draw. And he will be the first to say that he cannot draw. So he just put his work up on the internet and it ended up just blowing up with his like basic, he will self-describe it as chicken scratch drawing. It was found by an artist Murata, who ended up turning it into like an amazing manga, and which is where the visuals for the series come from. And the first episode is following. Um, well, it starts off with him facing a giant who is smashing through the city that he beats in one punch. He faces a sort of purple Piccolo ripoff that he also beats
Yeah.
in one punch. And basically ends up with him facing the Subterraneans. or at least what he believes is the subterraneans, because it's all ends up being a dream that he beats
Yeah.
in one punch. But one of the major things is we do get to see him before he gets his amazing powers, and you get to see who he was and what was going on in his life, and his lack of motivation, his lack of sense of self, and how he gets motivated to follow a dream he had when he was a child. And that really is one of the major points of the series.
Nice. First off, hey Eddie, and let me say, like, like, with any laugh, I'm not gonna interrupt someone with the talking to, but don't say hi. Just know I do see you. But, yeah, I mean, you know, just seeing the origins of who he was and how he decided to, you know, go down his path was a great, you know, opening to just the hero in general, because you don't typically see that in a lot of Western animation. Now, yes, you see that with like Superman, Iron Man, all those who, you know, grew up and became their own heroes. But I'm talking about, you know, the heroes that aren't really that iconic. You don't see that. I mean, I think Keiko and Jesse will agree with me on the, you know, in the animation world, you are limited to a extent of the story you're able to tell, just because you have to cram a lot into, you know, 20 60 minutes to tell, you know, 2, 3 different stories at one time. So, you know, going into the origins of One Punch Man in this early in the series is a great change of pace. Wouldn't you two agree or disagree with that?
I would agree with that because I would, as a superhero, they gotta fight and fight and fight, and here this guy, he just with one punch takes out the bad guy, the bad thing, and everything. So I thought that was pretty cool.
Well, one thing I loved about, in episode one, you're talking about the origins. When they go back and do the origin story, the Keckers, you did a great job, but I think you left out a very important detail because you talked about two of the villains. You did not talk it about
Oh,
Crab,
yeah,
Crab Latte, Crab
yes.
Latte.
All right,
Oh, yeah.
drawn on nipples.
Yep.
Yes.
With the gut-shaped chin, drew nipples on a permanent marker on his shell chest, and he was determined he was going to destroy the little boy with a big chin, and that's really how One Punch Man became One Punch Man.
Yeah.
Path. It was just really funny. I love animes that have like really ridiculous characters, especially the villains.
Oh yeah.
And this one opens up with, like you said, the Piccolo ripoff. But not only that, it was like, here's this big giant purple guy who's naked.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He's naked. Now they didn't show like the anatomy, and then there's other times where things happen and clothes kind of fall off, and it's always like a sign falls in front of like where something would be seen.
It's not that type of show.
Yeah, no, I mean,
But at least they're not necessarily showing stuff. But there is some innuendos. I think is the word I'm looking for. That towards a lot of things. But I love that. That's one thing I love in certain animes. It's the kind of anime to me that you can sit back with your popcorn. It is more or less like a comedy meets an action movie, and you don't have to really think about it. You can just sit there, enjoy some action, and you're most likely going to laugh. I mean, anybody on this panel who did not laugh, raise your hand. Because I was dying like the whole time. Every time something happened, I was just laughing. My wife probably looked at me like I was crazy.
Yeah, I mean,
hilarious.
Yeah, I get that, James. I mean, honestly, Nancy and I were together, and yeah, there was a lot of arbitrary laughter on our part because we couldn't help but laugh at what was going on. And now, yeah, I would say to your point, like, I'm glad that, the Piccolo guy, Purple Piccolo, whatever call it, was missing a from the ball part because correct me if I'm wrong, one of you, but isn't it in Attack on Titan where they animate every ball part, or am I misremembering that?
For Attack on Titan, they mostly just like do it similar to the way they did the giant in this.
Okay, that's what I was wondering because I haven't watched Attack on Titan in years. Wasn't really into it, so didn't watch it much.
Yeah. Gory, not naughty.
Yeah. But just I would say the whole pacing of One Punch Man, in my opinion, was excellent. It didn't feel like we were jumping around scene to scene. Everything had a natural progression to it, and you could really keep up with the flow of it, and honestly, it's just one third. I really appreciate that they do that just because Okay, yes, I know it's episode 1, but, you know, any fan can tell you that in some anime, even in episode 1, there was some big storyline to storyline, not really have that hill or not as much as I would say, but you know, it's definitely a good pacing throughout.
They do cram a lot in each episode. Like episode 1 had the flashback, it had the fight with the giant, it had the dream sequence, and it had a little bit of just regular life. But there was a lot of stuff happening, but everything still felt like it could fit in. You didn't get overwhelmed by all the stuff that was happening.
Yeah.
Exactly.
But there was enough content in episode 1 for like 5 episodes.
Oh yeah,
But
yeah,
it's still, you can still just watch it as an episode.
yeah. I mean, it's you know probably will down the line. It's like, but I would say in at least season 1, for what I remember, you can pick it up at any episode and jump into the story at episode 10, 16, and still be able to follow along with, I mean, some heavy story based anime. You're not able to do that. I mean, you know, you go to, and this is kept my mind real quick, but Dragon Ball, if you go into episode 20 of Dragon Ball, you need to at least hear the recap of episode 19, if that makes sense.
I get you. You can jump in random episodes in this. There is obviously the story. If you jump in later on, you're not going to get, his flashback, but you'll
Yeah,
still understand the character.
yep.
I have a question.
Okay, go ahead.
How did everyone feel about that fight being a dream sequence?
Okay, well, uh, the whole dream sequence, I found it both funny and, you know, to me at least, it didn't feel like a dream. Like, I, I get it was now, but in the moment watching it happen, you don't think it's a dream. Like, I mean, that's how I feel about it.
So for me, it was. I'm gonna add a little bit of context without going too deep into it. But one thing that I don't think we really hit on is like from the first fight and all the other fights, he was knocking people out with one punch. He's getting bored. He's
Yeah.
looking for a challenge. He is so bored. He's like, when he took that first guy out and he goes, with one punch again, really?
Yeah.
Like his whole reason for being a hero is to have fun. Being a hero is his hobby, and he's
Yeah.
not having fun. So when the whole thing with the subterraneans came into play, and he starts fighting, and he's like, "Holy crap! Like this is a challenge. This is the villain I'm looking for. Woohoo!" Like he got
Yeah.
all excited, and he's sitting there taking them out left and right, and then all of a sudden, here comes a subterranean king. You've destroyed all my children, and he's like, "Yes, and now you're next," type of thing, and they get at it, and then he wakes up. His apartment's all in one piece because it got destroyed when they first attacked. And
Yeah.
everything there, he's like in bed going, "Really?" And then he hears a commotion outside, and he hears them saying, "We're the subterraneans," and he's like, "Yes," and he's like flying out the window or whatever, and you got this one thing going, "I'm the subterranean king." And what's really funny is the dream sequence, the graphics of the actual villains that he's fighting is probably some of the best drawn when it comes to villains and just graphics, period. And that's what really set the dream sequence out. And that's how, if you go back and watch it again, that's the hint that it's not actually real, because the graphics were just almost totally different. They were so much drawn better. Even he looked better. He looked more like what you're seeing in the title sequence, where he's more of this like really fierce looking, just type of guy. Where all the other times he's kind of like looks a little bit more silly cartoon,
Yeah.
kicking people's butt with one punch. And in the dream, it wasn't that. It was the title character that you see. And it was just really, really cool. And then when he sees like the other ones outside, and it literally looked like people wearing costumes. It might have been, I don't know. And he flies out there, like just destroys the king with one thing, and the others are like, "Oh no!" And they're like going back in the ground really quick. He's like, "Really?"
Yeah.
So he was let down all over again. That the feeling he was looking for was just a dream.
Yeah. No.
I loved it. I actually thought that was one of my. Now I can't say it was my favorite because just because of how ridiculous he is, I love the whole crab latte thing.
Yeah.
Right? But I will say that was probably one of my favorite moments in episode 1 was the dream sequence and the actual let down when he woke up from the dream, because it really embodies like where that character is at. Like this is his actual dilemma. His dilemma is not having to fight bad guys. His dilemma is it's gotten way too easy, and he is bored and he's not having fun.
Yep.
Yeah.
I like the dream sequence and everything because, you see him fall asleep and then you're thinking it might be a dream, and then they're all coming out of the ground and everything, and he's fighting. Now, he says, "This is what I've been waiting for," because now it's a challenge for him. Because he's got like 10 guys jumping on him at one time, or whatever these monsters are jumping on him at one time, and then he's taking them out one by one and one, and then the king comes out and he defeats him, and then he wakes up, and he's disappointed and everything. So then when it really happens, because you go, "Oh, it was just a dream," and then it really happens. And the part I liked the best was after he defeated the king, the ones that was like the 3 or 4 that were right there, they turned tail and ran, but they
Yeah.
left a white flag, put a white flag up
Yeah.
saying,
We should go. That whole trip of race the white flag. But yeah, I mean, all this, especially the dream sequence, was great. I would say for me, I haven't watched this episode in
Oh, and hey, Red. Good to see you, man.
10 plus years, and I'm really, it got me into it unlike it did 10 years ago. So that's what I enjoy about it. Now, I will go ahead and say this. For me personally, I would rate episode 1 alone without the dream sequence a like 8.5 with the dream, that takes it up to 9.5/10 because I think the dream sequences were really cements the fact that we're really gonna be wanting to see him succeed more and have a lot more fun with it, but you know, and but it will take time to actually see that development. So yeah, 9.5 for me for episode 1. How about you guys?
All right. For me, episode 1 of One Punch Man, I would definitely put at pretty close. I'd say around like 8, almost 9. The only issues that I really had when I was watching it weren't animation related, weren't story related. I would say that the only issues that kept it from being perfect were that all right, yes, they were able to cram a lot of stuff in, and yes, they were able to have it flow well enough. I think they could have left out the giant, and I would have wanted a little more Saitama at the grocery store.
Hmm.
That does not make it back. It's still like 8.5, almost 9. Give me more Saitama shopping. That's all I'm saying.
Yeah, yeah, I'm with you on that. Hmm.
So
Yeah,
I'm going
okay,
to go.
Johnny, good Johnny. And no, I'm not doing Fortnite tonight. I'm in here talking with DJ, who does some amazing reviews for cartoons and some other lovely, lovely friends, and links will be in the description for them.
So I'm going to give episode 1. I'm going to start with a 7 because I mean to me they did a really good job. They embody what I'm looking for in an anime. And like Kickers, like you were mentioning, they did really good flowing. And at the same time, I had a little bit of problems with the story itself, only because the way they were telling the story, there were so many parts where I was laughing kind of hard, and I was like, "Wait a minute, do I need to go back? Did I just miss something in the story because I was laughing too hard?" Which isn't a bad thing, right?
Give a
I
pause.
still got good entertainment out of it, and but I'm going to bump it up to a 7.6 because there's one thing that for those of you that don't watch animes, it's very common in a lot of animes. is during the credits, they'll come in and announce like this is what's going to happen on the next episode.
Oh yeah.
And for this one, I'm going back to my boy. They had Crab Latte announcing what was on the next episode, and it made me smile that like they brought him back again. Even though poor kid got like his guts ripped out through his eye hole, he's still able to announce what's coming up on the next episode. So yeah, I really enjoyed it. This was a really, really, really good episode. So yeah, but I'm gonna cap it at a 7.6 for this episode. But that doesn't mean I didn't think it was phenomenal. I really did enjoy it.
That's nearly a B. That's good.
Yep. I'm a little bit more. For a lot of those that have seen me do reviews with DJ before, sometimes I will give, 9s and 10s for certain things. But when it comes to animes, I can be a little bit more holding back on that because there's certain elements I'm kind of looking for. And I'm not going into all of that now, but it's like certain things that I just really love in animes. And I go back and compare it to other things in my head a bit differently than I do with other cartoons or other animations. So, but
if you start with a 10, where can you go from there?
Yep. Exactly. Yeah. It was good enough that I was looking forward to watching episode 2.
Yeah, definitely.
What about you, Nancy?
So episode 1, I don't know a lot about anime, but what I have seen and everything, I would give it an 8 because at least it did keep your attention. It kept my attention, and it had comedy in it and everything. So and as it goes along, so you understand his childhood hero. He always wanted to be a hero from a kid because it doesn't go into detail about kind of life he had, but you can tell that he wanted to help people. And he didn't realize he had that ability until the blue monster came around and it was going to hurt that little girl. And then he defended her. So then he realized, where did this come from? So it gives you the backstory, it gives you the beginning and everything. And technically, it gives you like a beginning, a middle, and an end. So you know he's going to start fighting more monsters, and so it keeps your curiosity about what's coming up next. Because they showed the blue one, and then it was the crab, and then the that part was funny to me. Was the guy he took his brother wanted to be the strongest man alive, and he made this potion or whatever, and the guy drank it, so then he's this humongous monster now. And he goes, and when he's sitting on one shoulder and the brother's sitting on the other shoulder, and he tells the scientist guy tells his brother, kill the one on the shoulder, and he hits the wrong one, and he's like, oh my God,
brother!
It was kind of funny, but and then the one punch guy, he's sitting there being sarcastic to him and everything. So it's like, so it gives you things to look forward to, and it gives you, like you said, more stories and everything. So you know there's stuff coming. So I give it an 8 because, like I said, I don't know much more than what I've seen, but I do like what I've seen.
We also discussed some truth to him. Overwhelming power is boring.
Yeah.
I love the fact that when he squished his brother and he looked at his hand and he sees the little blood blot on his hand, he's like, again, that made me laugh. I laughed at many things that where you shouldn't laugh at in this show. And it's just, it's kind of a guilty pleasure laugh, to be honest with you. So if you ever feel like you want to laugh at stuff that you shouldn't, definitely watch this show.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, I would say if you're brand new to them, definitely check it out. I mean, this doesn't have, the big image tropes in it, but it is a good entry point to the world of anime. I believe, and also, if you need a bit of point, this would be one of them. So, yeah.
And come on, Digits. It never hurts to help. For people who remember Eat the Cat.
So,
So we going into episode 2?
yeah, let's go into episode 2, and whoever feels like they want to lead us off, please feel free.
Go ahead, Nancy. You lead this time. I said it first. Come on, Nancy. You want to lead?
Nancy beat you to it, so.
And I'm slow tonight, so I won.
You're slow, so you won? Is this like the tortoise thing all over again? Really?
I'm hurt, but slow.
I'll start it off. So, episode 2, and I could get a few things wrong here, but y'all feel free to jump in as I miss things or go over things. Episode 2, one thing I really enjoyed about this is it introduces a new character. So it might not start off like this, and Kickers, I'm sure you can correct me on this one, or even DJ or Nancy. But the focus on 2 starts out around this. There's these like swarms of mosquitoes going on, and what was really fun is one planet, Satoma, he ends up like there's this one mosquito that's bugging him. He's trying to like just one little mosquito. And then you can only get flash scenes and back and forth between that and like the actual like a swarm of mosquitoes that approach this one guy and literally sucked him dry blood. He was just like skin and bones. And they take that back and you see them swarming something else. And it's like a mosquito queen, right? And it's actually like a full size, like, humanoid. And she's like, yeah, so they're giving her the blood. And then here comes the new character, which they didn't introduce his name yet, but it's Genos.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So you see this guy, and he's got, you can definitely see there's metal on his body. He's a cyborg, right? He's got metal arms and stuff. So, he's sitting there saying, hey, I'm going to defeat you and da-da-da-da-da. And she sticks her mosquito swarm after him, and they did absolutely nothing. Once they surrounded him, he basically says, incinerate. And you just see like flames. And the whole swarm is just gone.
Yeah.
Right? And that does infuriate her a little bit. And she's only had that one little feeding of blood to her. And then all of a sudden, around this time frame, this is when Satoma shows up. He's just kind of wandering around the streets. So I think it was in plain clothes. He wasn't in his regular clothes yet. Which reminds me, I'm gonna go back for 1 second. The funny thing about the dream sequence in episode 1 was he was in pajamas. All right, so now we're gonna go back to episode 2. I just had to mention that because I love sometimes these little parts where it shows him like in plain clothes or regular people clothes.
Yeah.
His superhero get up with his cape and everything. And so anyway, he he shows up and Genos is looking at him going, like, hey, sir, it'd be best if you leave. You need to vacate the area, right? Because he's getting ready to fight the Mosquito Queen. They never gave her a name, did they?
Not that I recall, no. I mean,
She is just called Mosquito Queen.
Okay. So, so they're getting ready to go at it. She's getting ready to come at him. And, so she's charging in. And Genos just lets off another like big fire blast and all this stuff. because she was bringing like this huge swarm in, like it was just tons of mosquitoes coming in. And he cut scenes. What's really funny about Genos is he's a much more serious character, and they tell the story around him completely different than what the story's been told anywhere else. It's more of a narrator mode where he's kind of narrating like you're hearing his like computer thoughts to himself, right? You're hearing him talk about how he analyzes everything. And he's going through it, and he's going through this whole spill about he had already had time to analyze the area, and for the block that he would need for this blast, that there was no human life there, so nobody would be harmed from that blast he just did. And he goes, "Oh wait, what about that one guy?" He's like, "Crap!" And all of a sudden, here's Satoma, and his clothes got burned off, so he's like sitting there naked.
Yeah.
Back to what I was referencing earlier, where things kept falling in place, so you couldn't see anything because like a sign would fall down or something else was in the way, and it was just that funny part of the humor and to it all. And he's just Genos is looking at this guy going, "How did you survive this?" Right? So the queen comes in, and she basically gotten more blood, but by that point in time, and she became more powerful. She's like, "I don't need my swarms anymore. I can take you out." She starts slashing at Genos, and he's taking hits. He's getting cut up, left and right, losing body parts. And then all of a sudden, she explodes because Satoma did his thing. One punch, and Genos is like, "Wait, what just happened?"
Yeah.
And I'm gonna leave some of this for someone else to tell. So I'm gonna pass it off. Nancy, now it's your turn. You can't pass it off no more.
So,
I got you started.
So after she gets the story and everything, One Punch Man turns to the other one and asks him about, because he looks like a robot and everything. So he goes, well, he told him he was a cyborg and everything, and that, he wanted to repay him for, helping him and everything to defeat the mosquito queen and everything. He goes, "Oh, no, I'm good. And he goes, "No, I want you to teach me." He looked at him, he goes, "Teach you?" He goes, "Yeah, I want you to teach me how you do what you just did." So he tells him to come tomorrow to his place, and he's not even thinking that the person he's going to show up. He was just doing it to blow him off and like try to get rid of him. So he shows up, and One Punch Man home and everything, knocks on the door, and he opens the door. He goes, "Oh, you really here?" So he looks at him. He goes, "How did you get all your body? You get your arms and all back." And he explains that because he's a cyborg, he can repair the stuff on his body. So he goes in, and as they're talking and everything, he calls him sensei or master, and everything. So then he asks about the story, and that's how Cyborg gives his backstory. But as it keeps going on, he goes, "This is like taking too long," and he goes. So he gets mad and says something, and the next thing you hear is like, "Oh, so you want the short version?" He goes, "Yes, the short version." So he tells about how he's looking for the cyborg that hurt his family, hurt him, something like that. And he goes, "But I want you to teach me how to fight like you did." And and I haven't even started a training yet, I don't think. But they were, and they're talking, and I was like, so, let's see. And that's the only I remember up to there. I don't remember anything else.
Now I will jump in and
Real quick, DJ, before you continue on that part, I want to go back just a little bit because I found this part funny. Was when Genos first got there, and they're sitting down at the table, and they're kind of talking a little bit and hadn't gone into the backstory. And Satoma was like, so what's your problem? Right? Or something like that. And then all of a sudden he starts like talking. He's like, "Oh, wait a minute, we're really gonna do this?" Like, no, I was not like really wanting an answer. Again, I laughed. Like, I thought that was hilarious.
Yeah, no,
Yeah.
that was a little.
And he just drones on
Yeah,
and on and on and on.
yeah, no, I mean, so it's bad for me. Satama has, and I'm sorry if I'm forgetting what leads up to him after this, but he has, how old are you? And he's just 19. And, he says, okay, you could become bold to me because I'm 25. And, it's just amazing to see that, even in those a 6 year age gap, the tough moments that this guy could be bold to him now, go on to this we, and I hope I'm remembering this right, we get a crystal. I'm not remembering which one is, but two of them are like standing outside of his apartment looking up like, is that the guy? Yeah, let's get it done. Persistent attack. Satama falls to the ground, knocking the two small animals to
Yeah.
both, but lands perfectly to what he goes into the sidewalk up to his neck. And we have this big lion who's intimidating, and he's like, yeah, kind of us, and I did not know why my voice was like that, so, but, you're coming with us, all muscle wants to meet with you, all that, then, the time that, like, okay, I'm done, brother. Then proceeds to I walk punch this lion out and begin the whole battle with him. And the old dude is battling with this gorilla with a intimidating voice about to blast him to smithereens. And, he drops the voice change. So it's like, okay, I'm down. Now, I'm gonna let Kate take it from there because I know I'm forgetting details.
Oh, you're forgetting two very important details. You're forgetting about the two most dangerous situations Saitama gets into in this episode. The
Yeah.
first, he gets dirt in his belt buckle.
Hey.
That's the most dangerous situation of that whole fight. The
Yeah.
other one, he can't kill the mosquito.
Oh
He's
yeah.
jumping all over the place. He's trying to slap it and he can't. But he slaps the mosquito queen in one shot.
Yeah.
Can't get that one. There's always
Yeah.
that one that's around your house you can't get. And that's what he has to
Oh
deal with.
yeah. No, those two are like the very top.
Relatable problems.
Yeah.
Unstoppable.
Okay, go on, baby.
Also, yeah, when Genos is explaining his backstory and Saitama wants to move it along because we only have so much time in the episode. You got to get it out. You can't have the episode drag. You got to go. Yeah, so Genos is basically the exact opposite of Saitama in terms of Genos is a traditional anime protagonist. He's the blonde-haired pretty boy, cool
Yes.
guy, as
Yeah.
opposed to the smooth-headed Chad that is Saitama.
Yep. Yeah.
Oh yeah, Genos, he's just complete monotone, cool guy. Do the self-sacrifice explosion thing, but it's completely unnecessary because Saitama's there. You have the dangerous creatures that get fought and just get immediately just like they're gone. When Saitama gets pushed down into the dirt and he's just like, oh, this is kind of relaxing.
Yeah.
It's like a little mud bath. And he doesn't climb out, he just stands up.
Yeah.
Yeah. He's like, because they were saying, they were going to say about getting destroy him, and he just stands up, and they just look at him like, how'd you do that?
Yeah.
And when the cyborg gorilla just has like the cool armor, and then you take it off, it's just a gorilla face. The completely silly gorilla face.
Yeah.
That's like the comedy hits. The comedy always hits. But yeah, just it's the simple things. It's the simple things that Satman has to go through on top of, oh, there are monsters that exist. And the monsters are never a threat. It's always the other stuff that's the threat.
Yeah.
Oh, funny thing about liking the Saitama pajamas, there is a One Punch Man fighting game. And as part of the fighting game, Saitama can't really be hurt. Like if you pick him, it's a 3-on-3 fighting game where you pick 3 characters.
Yeah.
And if you pick Saitama, you actually only have 2 characters because Saitama has to run to the fight. Unless you pick Dream Saitama, which is Saitama with the pajamas on, he can actually fight other characters because he can take damage in the fighting game. Regular Saitama cannot.
That's funny.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The only way to play Saitama as a real character in the fighting game is Pajama Saitama.
Yeah, that's funny. That's funny.
I have a question, DJ.
Go ahead.
So you said you watched One Punch Man before.
Yes.
But it's only some of it. Did you ever watch Mob Psycho?
No, I did not watch Mob Psycho. That's one that I've been meaning to watch, but never really got around to. I mean, honestly, if I did watch it, it was like half an episode. So, yeah.
I asked this because it's also from the same creator as this.
Mm-hmm.
And there are certain themes that one always places in his work. And one of the main themes is that um, power in and of itself, just like being strong, being powerful, is never the real motivator of his stories. It's like all his main characters are overpowered. So the real threat is the other stuff.
Nice. I like that. Cool. Now, I will say I might have to consider putting that on our wheel to do that later on. But yeah, I mean, that definitely good show, like a good show to go into in the future. Okay, now before I give my rating and ask you, does anyone have any other thoughts on this episode or the previous episode?
I like
uh,
them both. So, you know, like I said, even in the second one, it kept my attention. So you kind of like you want to see what's going to happen next. So I thought they did a really good job on that.
And I like the way they quickly progressed and showed like, hey, it's not just going to be Satoma. There's going to be some other characters that they're going to build on that's going to be a part of this too, right? So it shows they are working on building it up so you're not more or less going to see the exact same thing every time, right? It could be similar, but there's going to be other antagonists coming into this. There's going to be other characters that clearly it looks like he's going to be a part of the story going forward, or at least for some amount of time. I could be
Mm-hmm.
wrong. I don't know. Right? I've only seen these two episodes of this series. That being said, I will be watching more of it. It's one I've always had an interest in, just never got around to it. So I will be watching more of it now.
Yeah. Now, with that being said, I'm glad to hear that you didn't accidentally go to episode 3 this week.
I stopped, and that's because honestly, with the way they do the animes, where and I was watching this through Hulu at the time, so there
Yeah.
wasn't a next episode thing popping up in front of my face before the credits hit, so I knew, right? They make it more clear with animes that you are leaving that episode and it is done. Because when most of these were made, it was before a lot of the streaming stuff. And it was very important. A very important part of animes is that credit scene in the intro to what the next episode is going to be about. That's like in probably 99% of all animes are built that
Mm-hmm.
way, right? But one thing I do want to mention, my other thought on the a One Punch Man was when back in episode one, and they go to the origin. I don't think I know Kecker's kind of hit on a little bit of this about he was kind of more of the, I'm gonna say, like GQ type character, right? You know, he had like all this like really cool looking hair, and but the character himself going forward became bald, and it was actually stated in there he became bald because of he trained so hard he lost his hair,
Yes.
right? And I think this is important because everybody needs to understand this is exactly why Keckers and I are the way we are,
yes, we
right?
train constantly.
It's this level of awesomeness that it doesn't stay there. So when you get to that point and you get bald, that's what happens. It's because this is a level of awesomeness that you have hit. And whatever it is that you're good at, you become so awesome at it, you don't need your hair anymore. You don't need that.
It holds you back. Wind
You're going to
resistance.
own the world. Yep. So for those people who really care about hair and think it's a big deal to go bald, just know, Eddie, you're holding yourself back. Just let it go.
I
A
I
man knows the
knew
truth.
I knew that was coming, but it wasn't coming for me. Okay, guys. Well, Nancy, do you have any thoughts?
No, I'm good.
Okay,
I was saying,
well,
just continue watching it. It only gets better.
yeah, definitely get this out of habit now. For those who are familiar with how we do here, next we have what we're gonna find out what we're watching next week with the help of the Wheel of Cocktails. Now, for people who don't know, this wheel consists of cocktails and there's two shows on here that I'm wanting to watch with y'all, and I just realized I might need to add one, but yeah. So let's see what we're watching next week. And we're over. Okay, Tokyo. Cool. Okay, that's another one that I personally have not watched myself, so uh, that would be a good one to check out next week. Now, before I end it tonight, Keiko, I have a question for you.
Shoot.
How did you enjoy being on tonight?
Oh, I've
Even,
enjoyed it every time I've been on. I've enjoyed it. It's been a while.
yeah, would you be interested in making do this a bit more often with us, or what would you want to do going forward?
All right. Tuesday nights are sort of okay, so yes.
Yes, okay.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Monday, Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday are completely out.
Now, I want to make sure
One that's
everybody
actually
realizes.
crazy, but yes, they are.
I want to make sure
Monday
everybody
have
realizes.
D&D. Friday I have D&D. Thursday I have a stream. Wednesday I have a red night. I am completely tapped. Tuesday is good.
okay.
So DJ just demonstrated a good example of peer pressure.
Yes, he did.
Yeah.
Doing it on a live adds a little bit more to it. I'm just saying.
Yeah.
He put you in a corner, Keckers. He put you in a corner, man.
Now it can't be every Tuesday because, as I just explained, I have a swamped week. So
Yeah, no, that's fine, but you know,
next Tuesday is perfect.
like I'm just saying, if there's anything I think you might be interested in, I may be contacting you a lot more often than we do right now, you know?
Sure. And thank you for contacting me. I had a blast.
Yeah, that's great. Thank you for coming on. Even with the last minute kind of nervous.
Thanks for
Yeah.
joining us. It was really awesome having you here.
Yeah. Oh, I do.
Yes,
Before we
yes.
go, I do want to show you something. This is a picture of what Vaccine Man looked like in the webcomic.
Okay. Okay. Let me pull this up for people real quick. That's what vaccine man looked like. So, yeah.
That's the first villain that you see in episode one, the big
Yes.
purple naked thing. That's
Yep.
that's
Yeah.
who this is right here.
Yeah.
That's what he originally looked like.
Oh,
Yeah.
that's pretty
Yeah.
cool.
Yep. Nice. But yeah, guys, I would say, you know, as always, thank you for joining us. And
Happy
I
to be here.
do say everyone be here. And me and Nancy will see y'all next week. Bye, guys.
Bye bye.
I miss you